I begin in the name of the Almighty, the most gracious, the most merciful, and by sending peace and salutations to our beloved Prophet Muhammad. And I initiate this session with a dua, a prayer that Allah give us the true understanding of any knowledge. And I begin with the Islamic greeting, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, Allah's mercy, and blessings be upon you all. Today's topic is bullying. Bullying is a form of aggressive behavior in which someone intentionally and repeatedly causes another person injury or discomfort. It has far-reaching effects on self-esteem, self-confidence, and even performances in school. Question is, can anything actually be done about bullying? Can I stop it? And why should I stop it? Well, we are all the creation of the Almighty, and each one special in his or her own way. No one has to endure the pain of being hurt, harmed, and humiliated. No one deserves to be bullied. It is never okay, cool, fun, or acceptable. Usually, bullies are popular, but victim can be scarred for life, and his or her personality can have negative effects, and that is why it is so important to fight bullying. Bullying can take any form, physical, mental, or cyberbullying. Physical involves hitting, pushing and shoving, fighting, tripping, yelling at someone, making rude gestures, taking or breaking another's belongings. Emotional include name-calling, making fun of someone, laughing at someone, leaving someone out on purpose, starting rumors or telling lies about someone, sending mean messages on a computer or cell phone, basically trying to make someone feel bad about who they are. Cyberbullying or bullying others online is often a byproduct of someone being bullied in their offline life. Some people who are perceived as weak or perceive themselves that way use the internet to try and reinvent themselves into someone more powerful or intimidating. They may join open chats or forums and threaten other participants. Often, cyberbullying can be an extension of real-world bullying too. For example, hacking into a social media account in order to display negative rumors about another. So cyberbullying is through using technology, internet, email, cell phone, social media, pictures to hurt or harm someone else. It includes sending texts, mean text messages, posting statements online that are unkind or not true, sending or posting pictures of others, making negative comments online about someone, agreeing with someone who posts something harmful. Research shows that 10% of children are victims of bullying and 5% of children are involved in bullying others. Defined as a form of aggression involving a particular kind of harm, it involves an imbalance of power. Being bullied may seem like an unending nightmare to a child who's being targeted. Bullies can resort to verbal and physical abuse and cyberbullying to make themselves feel better and strong, mainly because they do not get the attention at home. They feel unloved, and just because of a dire need to be noticed, which is usually through negative behavior, as they feel worthless. Statistics in the United States show 3.2 million students are victims of bullying each year. About 28% of students ages 12 to 18 report bullying in school. Approximately 160,000 teens skip school every day because of bullying. 17% of American students report being bullied 2 to 3 times a month or more within a school semester. 1 in 4 teachers see nothing wrong with bullying and will only intervene 4% of the time. By age 14, less than 30% of boys and 40% of girls will talk to their peers about bullying. 67% of students believe that adult help is infrequent and ineffective. 71% of students report incidents of bullying as a problem at their school. 90% of 4th through 8th graders report being victims of bullying. 1 in 10 students drop out of school because of repeated bullying. Regarding boys, as they age, are less and less likely to feel sympathy for victims of bullying. In fact, they are more likely to add to the problem than solve it. Physical bullying increases in elementary school, peaks in middle school, and declines in high school. Verbal abuse, on the other hand, remains constant. Basically, there's no particular risk factor that puts a child at risk of being bullied or bullying others. Bullying can happen anywhere, cities, suburbs, or even small towns. Depending on the environment, some groups such as bisexual youth with disabilities, and those socially isolated may be at an increased risk of being bullied. In the United States, in the previous year, it is seen that 20% of students in grades 9 to 12 and 28% in grades 6 through 12 experienced bullying nationwide. Bullying is also associated with appearance, how a person dresses. For example, a Muslim girl can be bullied because of her modest dressing, or a Muslim male due to the beard he wears. I was reading about a girl who says, "When I was still a little kid, I was bullied for being Muslim. I was bullied because my language to them was stupid. I never told my parents because I knew that if I did, they would inform the principal and it would make things worse. It was all verbal, and even though there was never any physical harm involved, it hurt. Whenever I see someone get bullied, I remember everything that happened, and the hardest thing is when I try to help, I get bullied instead." But our Creator has given us guidelines through His words in all aspects of life. Allah the Almighty says in the Quran, in chapter Al-Hujurat, verse number 13,
يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير.
That He has created us from a male and a female and caused us to be as various tribes and nations, so we identify one another, and the criteria for nobility with Allah is only on the basis of taqwa, being God-conscious and having piety. There are severe warnings for those who mock and ridicule others. In the same chapter, Al-Hujurat, verse number 11, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us,
يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون.
Both believing men and women are severely warned of finding faults in others and calling them with bad nicknames, and of a torment if they will not repent on this sin. How can I save the oppressed? Do I just be a spectator? It is important to know that bullying just doesn't affect those who are bullied and those who bully. It has a huge impact on those who see the behavior. The group of kids who witness bullying is equally important. This group may not be getting bullied, they may not be bullying, but their reaction can make a big difference. That's the group of spectators. There are some who look, then walk away. Then there are others who watch and say nothing. And then there's yet another group that actually cheers the person who bullies. We need to educate our kids that bullying is not acceptable at all, and others around will be more willing to speak up as well. When students are willing to say they think something is wrong, they can make a difference. Ask friends to join in against bullying. Tell the kid who's being bullied that he or she doesn't deserve to be treated that way. Nobody does. Encourage them to tell a grown-up. Telling is not tattling. A lot of kids say that they don't want to tell an adult about bullying because they don't want to be called a tattletale. Explain them the difference between telling and tattling. Telling is done to protect yourself or another person from getting hurt, and tattling is done to get someone in trouble. So it's not only okay to tell an adult when you see bullying, in fact, it's a really smart thing to do. So we as believers taking guidance from the hadith need to reach out and teach people how response can really impact a situation. Our actions have both positive and negative effects. We must learn what we can do in order to have a positive influence. So, how can we help? Looking at the Islamic perspective, according to a hadith narrated by Abdullah bin Umar, Allah's Messenger, may peace and salutations be upon him, said, "A Muslim is a brother of another Muslim, so he should not oppress him, nor should he hand him over to an oppressor. Whoever fulfilled the needs of his brother, Allah will fulfill his needs. Whoever brought his Muslim brother out of a discomfort, Allah will bring him out of the discomforts of the day of resurrection. And whoever screened a Muslim, Allah will screen him on the day of resurrection." Although this is particularly for Muslims, but generally our deen teaches mercy and kindness to the entire creation. So how can we save someone from the oppressor? There is ample material available online that gives multiple strategies on preventing bullying. Also, we must organize workshops and talks to create more awareness in the community against bullying. We must maximize the parent community of victimized kids by child abuse awareness using anti-bullying strategies. We can also spread the word by making use of social media. Then there are several youth-inspired services to end abuse. Also, by reaching out to the authorities, including the school principal and the counselor, and willing to work with them. We can even reach out to government officials by writing to the local mayor or a senator if incidences of bullying are reported in the neighborhood or community. But most importantly, we need to show compassion towards our kids, giving them the confidence that we are there for them and that we understand. Most kids don't really feel comfortable talking to parents as it can only cause more problems, and they feel they're mature enough to handle things. For example, cyberbullying can be brutal, but parents really need to help without overreacting. Most kids fear that social media privileges will be taken away if they inform their mom or dad of any incident. We need to give our kids the reassurance that if they are being bullied, they don't deserve to be and have the right to defend it. And it will definitely help to let an adult know. And that there are also laws against bullying. And how can we help the oppressor? Looking at another hadith as narrated by Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or he is an oppressed one." People asked, "O Allah's Messenger, it is all right to help him if he is an oppressed, but how should we help him if he is an oppressor?" The Prophet said, "By preventing him from oppressing others." And how do we do that? So those being bullied may be able to reduce the instances of bullying and even make friends with the bully simply by standing their ground and being nice to the bully regardless of how they are treated. It does take a lot of courage, but resorting to the polite and gentle manner will definitely help. By giving the bully positive attention before they have the chance to seek negative attention, they can make things better for themselves and the bully. Sometimes kids who bully might think that it's cool, fun, or just no big deal. But think about it. What is cool or fun about hurting someone? Name-calling, tripping someone, laughing at someone, leaving them out, ignoring them on purpose. How can hurting someone possibly be no big deal? If kids are made to think why they are bullying, they can then deal with those reasons and change their behavior. Positive discipline techniques are highly essential, and as parents and adults, we can definitely make a difference by educating them and simply having a talk with them. Promoting the well-being of our kids and youth. We can ask them to make a list why they think they bully. How do we guide them? By telling them, if you sometimes bully, here's what you can do. Understand that your actions are hurting someone else. Know that it is never okay to hurt someone else. Realize that everyone deserves respect. That differences are a part of our world. Talk with someone, your parents, a teacher, or a trusted adult, and ask them for help. Sometimes kids may bully, but that doesn't mean that they can't change. That's because bullying is about behavior, and behavior can change. It's about words and actions, not about who they are. It is very important not to label a kid as a bully. When someone is labeled with a name, it is pretty likely they'll live up to the title, and people inevitably start to think of them in that way. It does help to understand the reasons that bullying occurs and to then think about innovative ways to respond. We also guide them that when they're tempted, they might think bullying is fun or makes them cool, but make them think about it. There's nothing fun or cool about hurting anyone. It really says more about them than the person who's bullied. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.